Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chateau farm. So as promised, I'm going to give you a quick 1 to 2 minute update of the restaurant kitchen, which is behind me, and show you what it looks like now. So through the door, and you'll have to excuse the mess. So I'm going to show you now what the kitchen looked like last time we showed you what was going on. So if you remember what this utility area was like before, which is now going to be the restaurant kitchen, it was horrendous. We had two layers deep of breeze block and cement on top, and Julian had to bash all that out. We were really worried about what was underneath the breeze blocks and why they were there in the first place. That mystery never got solved. We've just no idea. I think it was just to raise the sink up, which was just silly. But anyway, Julian did all that. He levelled out the concrete. He put a new thin screed layer of concrete down on either side. And then he laid the floor, which is a very basic grey flat tile. Looks like slate, isn't slate, but will enable us to clean it extremely easy for the restaurant every evening, every day. And then now we come into a very, very untidy room, but a lot of progress has been made. We are nowhere near finished, but as you can see, we have a floor, and most of the tiling's done. We've got to do the window architrave and sort that wooden bit at the top, get all the window bolt, which is called a cremone, renovated, the window painted, etc. But what we have now is we have a nice, when it's all cleaned, I just can't believe how messy it is in here. Julian is just such an untidy worker, but he gets the job done, and that's what matters. So we have lots of plug sockets. There'll be a worktop all around there. We'll just show you updates as we go along. There's no point sort of like telling you what it's going to be like. We'll show you what it is like at the time of things getting done. And then at the moment, the difficulty that we have is there used to be a sink here, and it used to go to a drain at the front of the chateau, but we didn't really use it because those drains are like 200 years old and not good at all, not good drainage. So we changed the drainage when we moved in here so that the kitchen, which is obviously next door, the Chateau family kitchen, would go somewhere different to a different drain that we've updated. Now these walls, what Julian's trying to do at the moment is connect to that other drain. So connect this one to the other drain outside, which the family kitchen goes to. And the difficulty that we have is this wall here, where it's trying to go through, is 80 odd centimetres thick. And this here, if I can show you, so that's my hand. This is the length of the drill bit that he is using, which is 50, 60 centimetres. We couldn't find an 80 centimetre one. So he's trying to go through one way and then the other way and just do kind of like a pilot hole. And then he would use his big round bit there. We've got another extension to go through the wall. And all we're trying to do is basically get the plumbing pipe through, the waste pipe that will connect from the sink to go to the external drain outside, where we have a grease trap that we've made and things like that. So, but what's happened is, I don't know if you can see, you see that little circle in the middle? The drill bit's got stuck. So we've got a 60 centimetre drill bit stuck in the wall now, and the drill will not take it out. We have no idea how to get this out now. So yeah, it's all fun and games here. Nothing is easy when you're renovating a chateau, nothing at all. So that's where we're up to with the restaurant kitchen. We'll tell you now what the plan is for the restaurant when I filmed it the other day. It is full on seed sowing now. When I say full on, not as many seeds yet as I have done in previous years. That's mainly because we are not looking to service customers this spring. We are full on, as I said in the last video, full on food production for ourselves. So lots and lots of harvesting, hopefully. Hopefully lots of abundance later on. Come maybe May when the crops, the first crops start coming in, throughout the summer and autumn. And the plan is that we are actually opening the restaurant in September now. And there's a lot of good reasons for this, but when you start a new business, you don't want to open up and then have to close and then open back up again. And for us, we earn our money, the bulk of our money, from two ways: bed and breakfast, and also renting the entire chateau out in July and August for 5 or 6 weeks for groups of friends and families to take their holiday together. And this is a lot of money for us in a short period of time, and it's a business that we've built up over the last few years here. It just about gets us through the year, put it that way. And because we're mortgage free and we grow our own food and other stuff, then we don't need that much money. But we have got 3 children. We've got all the expenses that come with that. We've got a chateau to maintain, farm infrastructure to build. So yeah, for us, our future in France is still a little bit precarious financially, so we have to do what's right. So we are going with a tried and tested income, hopefully, fingers crossed, for this year of the gîte and the bed and breakfast, because we only open from April to September. And then what we will do is we'll close for 2 or 3 weeks, and then sort of like the second week in September, third week in September, we'll open the restaurant up. And that means that we then don't have this break where we open, say, in April, the restaurant, we open for a few months, then we close, and people are like, oh, right, are you closed? Are you permanently closed? What's going on? It's just not a good thing to do when you're trying to set up a new business. So that's the thinking behind it. It also means that we can focus on growing for the restaurant for just one season instead of trying to do the transition of having the crops for spring and summer, and then having this huge abundance where we shut for 2 months and it's like, what do we do? You can plan for that, but it's not easy to just suddenly go massive and then scale back and then go massive again for the autumn season. So with this in mind, what we can do is we can work up to the scale that we need for the restaurant, and yeah, that's the plan. So we're going to be showing all sorts of different things on this channel this year. A little bit of renovation for the restaurant as it goes along. Some big infrastructure projects that we're doing on the farm. Preserving, recipes, growing, planting, harvesting. And that's not to mention all the animal stuff as well. So we've got quite a few things to show you that we've been doing with that this autumn and winter. So for now, that being said, let's get on with sowing some courgettes. So we've got some very basic courgette seed here. I actually had my seed box in the potting shed, which is where I am now, and the mice got into it because the lid wasn't on properly. I have this huge seed box, which I'll just show you here, which is here, and this is where I keep there's just some of my seeds there, and then all the others are in ice cream tubs and coffee tubs and things like that. Now, they're all labelled up, but it's not the most ideal system. What Julian's going to do, hopefully, this year for me in the next month or so, but is on my other projects at the minute, so it's not the priority list, is these are my potting tables. And what he's going to do is put sort of a shelf or two just above here, and then I could just have all my seed boxes there, and it'd just be a bit more efficient. So it'll be like, right, I want to sow some more courgettes, grab the seed box, there you go, and then it goes straight back up. Whereas at the moment I'm either going into that box or on that desk and finding the box. It's a bit more, it's better than it was last year, put it that way. So, long story short, the mice that live around here got into my seed box and ate over half my seed stash that I'd got from, I usually buy my seeds in autumn. So we've had to place an order again for other seeds. And I placed the seed order in autumn to make sure, 2 or 3 seed orders I do a year, but it's to make sure that I get the seed that I want. We're not in a position yet that we save lots and lots of seeds. We do save a few seeds. We've done artichoke salads and all sorts of things. So we've gone with, just at the minute, I had all sorts of different varieties of courgette, but just very quickly at the garden centre yesterday, because I wanted to sow courgettes this week, Julian's just got me a very bog standard green courgette, Verte Noire Maraîchère, green black market garden, and this is one of the most famous seed companies in the world. It was, from as far as I know, I think it's the first ever seed company to be formed, and it's Vilmorin, very, very famous. If you've seen our kitchen renovation, and these were the ones that used to supply the famous the famous market gardeners of Paris at the time, that you can do some research on, which are the first known sort of market gardeners in the world. But if you've seen our kitchen renovation, you'll see that I have original art prints from some of the original some 1800s seed catalogues that Vilmorin produced, and they were art prints of all different vegetables. And they're up in the kitchen in frames. So a bit of history for you there. So this is a bog standard courgette, and we're sowing it quite early, even for us. And the reason is because we have high tunnels. So we're still going to get some frost right up until our actual last expected frost date is the middle of May. But it never happens. Never happens. The latest could be maybe the 3rd week in April. Now, it's been a cold winter, so who knows? But we have these are for going into the polytunnel, planted into the polytunnel. So not just raising the seedling and the transplant in the tunnel, but actually going to be planted in the polytunnel. And if there is a risk of a hard frost once these are in the ground, then a second little mini tunnel will go over them, like I did with the seeds last year, and that just prevents them from getting frosted up. So it's really easy to plant courgettes. You can see you can't really go wrong with putting a courgette seed in. You want to put it in twice the depth of what the seed height is, and I always put the seeds on their side. And if you've ever seen or planted courgettes or cucumbers, courgettes, anything in that family, and you'll see what happens sometimes is the seedling pops up, then you still have the seed case, the outer shell stuck on the initial seed leaves, and then you have to try and break that off. Planting courgette seedlings, cucumber seedlings, melons, anything, squash in that family on their side like this, it minimises that. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it does minimise it. So it's very simple. Now what I do is I'll just put some water in the seedling like this, usually in a water can, not with my drinking water bottle, but the little watering can I've got is in the little tunnel at the moment. Then when that's soaked through a bit, and that's just to make sure that the water is definitely going onto the seed. If you then just put soil straight onto this and then water, then you've got that soil barrier to get through to get to the seed first. And you want the seed to start to soften, receive the water. That's what's going to enable the germination along with heat. So this is the second lot of seeds, courgette seeds that I've sown. So we've sown 20, which is still quite a lot of courgettes for our initial sowing. But because this is still an early sowing, I'm guessing that maybe 85%, something like that, will germinate. We might even have 100% germination, but what we're probably going to come out with is maybe 80% healthy plants that'll go into the polytunnel afterwards. So yeah, we'll say that we might have, out of these 20, we might have 16, and that's just about right, because we want to be preserving some of these courgettes. And we will be planting probably 4 lots of courgette sowings this year. I find here in our hot climate in the summer that courgettes really only last for about 3 months. This first sowing, that'll go into the polytunnel. After a couple of months, we'll get powdery mildew. It's just inevitable because you have that cold, hot in the spring, lots of rain, there'll be mildew spores around. Because we have to ventilate the polytunnel, they will get into the polytunnel, and it'll be the same with the cucumbers. Last week I sowed our first batch of cucumbers. They're not coming up yet. They'll take, at this time of year, they'll take maybe 7 to 10 days to come up in the propagators. So in about 2 to 3 weeks time, I'll be sowing another batch of courgettes. If you don't have protection, like a little polytunnel, then you really need to be sowing courgettes if you're doing them like on a windowsill or in your house under grow lights. And then you're planting outside, whatever your grow zone is, you need to be waiting probably 2 to 3 weeks before your last frost date. That's the ideal time to sow courgettes. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to tune into our next vlog. We're trying to bring you vlogs every Wednesday and Saturday from moving forward. And if you want to join us on a daily basis, almost daily basis, then you can follow our social media channels at The Chateau Farm on Facebook and Instagram. See you soon, guys.